Ahoy hoy. Welcome back to another Gavin's Grotty Guitars. Really interesting one this week for a number of reasons. First things first, we've been through a bit of the history of Gibson with their strange shapes. So in the 50s they came up with the Flying V and the Explorer. And then we talked about how Les Pauls weren't selling in the late 50s and 1960, and so they got rid of them and replaced it with the SG, which they started calling originally the Les Paul. So it was a thinner body, less wood, hopefully making it more affordable for people. And then they did another one of their wonderful things of let's rethink everything. Let's bring this McCart bloke, what's his face, bring him in. He's got some interesting ideas. He's a good designer. And he came up with the Firebird. Now this obviously isn't a Gibson or even an Epiphone. This is a copy by Westfield, who we'll talk about in a second. On the original of the Firebird, it was a neck through body. So one piece of timber all the way down, and these sides on. Now, if you think the sides look a bit strange, it's because they kind of go against traditional design ideology, which is, according to Bennett Crimson, and I hate to agree with him, but he's partially right, is that there's movement. There has to be movement going forwards. And if you look at a Stratocaster, the top horn is further that way. And when you've got an offset body, the offset bit usually comes back that way on the bottom. So back, forwards. The idea behind this was the sort of 50s cars with the nice bits of chrome on and fins and what have you. And this needed to be moving the other way. So it was moving fast that way, and this was coming out the back, like the fin on the back of a car. But if you look at it, it's sort of the opposite of what you expect from a guitar. So this was, although this was the original design the way around, this was called the reverse. And the non-reverse, of course, is the other way around. What you've already gained and seen from the back of this is that this is a bolt-on neck. That's because it's a Westfield copy, tribute. It's a lot more expensive to make a neck-through guitar. And this doesn't have any problems for that at all, in my book. This is rather a good guitar. Yep. The headstock is also rather fun. Originally it was the other way up, reversed, and it also had tuners coming in from the back straight through rather than off to one side. But it does have some wonderful sort of shapes and areas on it, which I believe Fender wanted to sue Gibson over, because it's copying their look. People with guitars suing each other over silly things. Things of note. Its four controls aren't exactly symmetrical in any way, are they? We've got an output jack down here. The selector's down here, whereas your usual Les Paul one is up there and your SG is down here. It's quite nice there, actually. And then you'll notice the pickups, hopefully. The pickups are mini humbuckers. So they're not single coil, they're not full size humbuckers, they're not P90s, they're mini humbuckers. And the sound that comes out of them is really rather good. before we get on to the sounds of this, Westfield was a Scottish guitar importer, manufacturer, and they were very big for a while. I think late 80s they started, and they went, oh, there's the phone. Fender's lawyers onto me already. And they lasted, I think, until only about 7 years ago. Until that year down there. Which is unfortunate, because whenever I went round to guitar shops, the entry-level stuff was Westfield. Usually acoustics or Strats or Les Paul copies, which every company that makes guitars has to make. Which makes this even stranger. The fact that they went out of their way and made a Firebird copy. And I love it. It weighs a ton. Let's listen to it though. Fender Deluxe VM. So we're on the neck pickup. There's nothing tinny about that, is there? Both. And bridge. And what hopefully you can hear on YouTube as well as I can hear here is that sounds good. I wouldn't change these pickups. So who plays these kind of guitars? Weirdos probably. Johnny Winter. I saw PJ Harvey playing one once, which was yeah, extraordinary. They're rather good. They're a bit of a taste that's acquired really because of the weight and the shape and its mini humbuckers, and it was never a really big thing that took off because it is quite so different in its design. It's a Gibson with a 6-a-side headstock, whichever way it's designed in the real world. That's odd. It's got small humbuckers. That's odd. It's a spiky-ish, rounded off body. That's odd. And it's reversed as the normal. So it was never really going to be the big thing that took off. And it's a bit of a shame, because the sounds that come out of this let's give it some. that isn't a good rocking machine, nothing is. It's the Marshall Governor there on about half burst. So, Westfield as a company unfortunately went broke, and you can't buy their products new anymore. And that's a crying shame, because it would be nice to buy entry level, mid level guitars from a British company, wouldn't it? If you find one of these, give it a go. There's nothing wrong with it, apart from it's a bit heavy and the balance is nearly there. It's so close. Give one a go if you like that sort of thing, and you can put up the fact with people will tell you, and there's going to be comments underneath, it's not a real Firebird because it's got a bolt-on neck. Potatoes, potatoes. Until next time, Toodle Pip. Don't forget to subscribe, more videos there, and here comes the cat.